Butterfly, and I am going to be talking about books that I've read that I don't hear a lot of people talking about, if at all. So I want to recommend them to you to read because I enjoyed all of them very, very much. I did a little short video of books from like middle school on my TikTok, and I was gonna make a little longer video, but that's not working. So I thought, let's just do a long form for YouTube because this is where my heart's always been. So I'm gonna go through these books, and I will tell you that some of these I've read very far out, some of these I've read very like recently, so bear with me. I will say that these are very different genres, so there's a little something for everybody, I think. The first book is a book you've probably seen me talk about so much. You're like, please stop. But I will always recommend Anything But Ordinary to anyone that will listen to me, okay? This is the coming of age story. It is YA. This girl is in a coma. She wakes up and she has to deal with the world around her as it is changing, as well as her mind and body. And that is something that is traumatic, and it is talked about in this book through everybody's point of view, mainly hers, but it talks about her family's dynamic, her relationships then versus now, and I will recommend this until the day that I die, okay? I was obsessed with this book for months, even maybe years, through middle school and high school. Anytime anybody asked, I would recommend this book. I even had to rebuy it because the other copy got so bad that you couldn't even read it, okay? And I lost it going to college, so I got it hardback so I could reread it as many times as I wanted, okay? This book I will always recommend, and I never see people talking about it, and it's probably because, you know, I read it in middle school. That's like 2012, 2013. Okay, so I don't even know when this book came out. This is the first edition in 2012, so that tells you all you need to know, which is probably why I don't hear people talk about it. I read this book, which is It Takes One, through the pandemic, okay? It was actually in one of those like blind dates of the book. It was at my local bookstore. I picked it up, and then I read it for a video that I never uploaded, but I love this book so much that I definitely will recommend it. There is more books in the series that I have not read, just because, you know, I love the book so much, but I'm not finding it at thrift stores, and I'm not finding it in libraries, so I don't know where to go from there. But It Takes One is about a psychiatrist who had a bad past, okay? The person she had a bad past with in her hometown ends up dead. Everyone thinks it is her. So though she has to do her job as a psychiatrist, she also has to try and figure out what actually happened so people don't blame her for the murder, and there's a little romance in it, and it talks about her family and what happened. It's just a whole lot of things, and I will recommend this because there's so much happening that there's never a dull moment in it. The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea, as you can see, I love this book, okay? It is young adult. It is a folklore retelling. I will say that when it first came out, people talked about it, but I haven't seen people talk about it since it came out. But maybe that's just because I've been in a reading slump. So maybe everybody read it when it first came out, and that's why nobody's talking about it. This talks about generational ancestry. It talks about family dynamics, being an empowered woman. It talks about the sea gods, gods of death, just a lot of folklore, and it's really good, and I will recommend this to the day I die. The main character, I will always say, is a great character because though what she does is for her family, it ultimately helps her become more in who she is, and I love that. Defectors. This is one of the first books that I actually read after rejoining reading, and I read this book in one sitting, okay? It is about a defector, obviously, from Moscow, or well, who went to Moscow after he defected. The defector's brother goes to Moscow to bring him back because you're obviously not happy. And so it's this whole big thing, and you know, you have everything happening in Moscow. So this is his brother who's coming to terms with reality of what's happening around him. There's action, there's heart-beating stories, and there's family dynamics, and as you can tell a theme, I love that. This book right here is what got me back into reading, okay? Suicide Notes from Beautiful Girls. This book so good. I owned this book way longer than I read it, okay? When I finally got around to reading it, it was because I was bored in college and I didn't have anything to do, okay? Because a lot happened at Charlotte during my time in college, okay? So during that, I picked this book up to keep me occupied, and I really loved it. It is about a girl who has a falling out with her friend, and then her friend's family is like, she's dead, and the girl's like, oh, I gotta investigate that. And it's about her in the journey of finding everything out. I really recommend it, okay? I love it. This is the first book that I actually ever wrote in out of my own free will. I think I only wrote in like a few chapters, but I can remember the look on people's faces. This like family friend event, okay? And I pull out my pencil and I wrote in the book, everyone in the circle on the lawn chairs froze. I was like, oh, I'm sorry, it's so good, it's so good. Like, I literally, it's right here, description, like what is going on in this book, okay? Anything by Jordan Green, one of my favorite authors, okay? Such good books, we love it. They have queer representation. All of them that I've read have been gay romances. He's also a North Carolina author, and I've met him a few times at the coffee shop editions. Recommend the coffee shop, it's in Kannapolis. Really love the environment at the coffee shop. So these, I actually believe I got ARCs to both of these, and I read them like 1 or 2 sittings. They were so good. This one is a collaboration with Caleb Daniel. It is this, I promise you. I will say that there is a trigger warning list, so check that out on Goodreads before you read it. It is a disdain to lovers. They also unpack trauma, and there's just a lot going on. It does take place at the University of Charlotte, which is where I went, and one of the people stay in a dorm that I actually stayed in that dorm, which I love, and I thought it was like really cool to be able to relate in that way. Also have Every Word You Never Said. Okay, this book is so good, okay? There is mute representation, adoption representation. One of the side characters is a Wiccan, okay? And one of the main characters' father is a preacher. I will say, if you do not like the idea of teenagers fighting against a community that does not like the idea of gay, queer in any sense of the word, cross-dressing, like, this is not the book for you. But I do recommend it. It is such a good read, and I really wish I would have read this in high school. Like, even after we read this, there was a big deal in my hometown because a guy was wearing heels to school, and that should not be a problem, but it was for my small town. But whatever, I'm just glad that I know of the queer community in my town and the progressive women in my town. So I will say this is a good book, and I really recommend it to anyone that feels othered in their community and wanting to have a found family like they have in this book. Also, in the Noahverse, there's like 4 books and a novella. The characters do cross paths. Love it. I'm holding up Permanent Damage. I did love this book, but I will say that I'm holding it up for the author, Ivy Tholen, okay? There is another book that they also wrote, which is a slasher, and I highly recommend both of these books. I never see people talk about it. The slasher, oh my gosh, gut-wrenching. I still can't eat certain foods without thinking about the scenes in that book. It is so good. I believe I read it for one of the summer readathons, okay? This one I also started for a Halloween readathon, but I did not finish it until a while later just because of my own problems. But once I started back at this book, I could not put it down, okay? This is a girl that is taunted by death. She can see ghosts, and then her psychiatrist takes advantage of that. It is all about her journey through this in isolation and all of this. I love it. I kind of wish there was a second book about what happens after the fact, but I don't know. I think it would be really good. I recommend this. They both are really fast-paced reads and really detailed books. Next, is a kid's book, just to cover all my bases, okay? This series is really popular, and I started with the last book, okay? Stargazer, which is Land of Elan. The Land of Elan. This is book 4. My friend gifted me this book, and now I can't stop thinking about this series. Like, I need to read the other books. It's so fun. It's like a fantasy world. It's got some like steampunk elements in it. I recommend it as a cute little read to get you back into reading out of reading some, if you don't mind reading middle grade. I really could care less what age group the book is for. I'm gonna read it. If I can, have the capacity and the brain to do it, okay? I put this on here because nobody talks about kids books anymore, okay? Like, a couple years ago on BookTube, we used to talk about middle grade books a lot, but I haven't seen it recently, but maybe I'm just not looking. These are all graphic novels, so we're gonna speed through these. I recommend all of these, okay? Lit, okay? This came out years ago. Didn't read it until recently. Really love it. The artwork is amazing, and the story is really well put together. I believe there is multiple books in the series, but I have not been able to find them in any stores. Zatanna, again, artwork is amazing. Love this story. I really love the like rewritings of these. This is one of the young adult novels by DC. They've come out with a lot recently, and I recommend, really honestly, to just go through DC. It's like young adults and middle grade. Like Primer is also a good one, but I have no clue where that one is. This one was my favorite. I read it one sitting. I mean, obviously most graphic novels you can read in one setting, but if you can't tell, my brain goes everywhere, okay? I got my medicine taken to be able to sit down and film this. You have Call of Cthulhu, okay? This book is really good. I feel like there was supposed to be another one of these, and if there is, I haven't seen it, okay? Yeah, is there supposed to be more than one? This is the first one. I didn't know. I've never seen the second one, but my comic book shop stopped selling comics, and it focuses on gaming, which is great for my dad who loves gaming, but me who likes comics, I'm out of luck here, okay? So I recommend this one. I love the art style, and this is the most beautiful depiction I've ever seen, okay? Okay, this is one of my favorite character artworks, and I loved it, okay? This is Rock Stars, okay? This is a comic book collection. This is the first one. Again, haven't been able to find the other ones because my comic book store in my hometown never put it in. I don't know if I'm supposed to like ask him. Like, I don't know, I guess how comic book stores work, because my dad always bought them for me. And now that I'm an adult, I don't know. I haven't found the rest of these in any physical stores. I will probably have to find it online, but I try to avoid that, okay? The art style, dark, love it. When I say dark, I don't mean like literally dark. I mean like deep colors, okay? This is the story. It's, you know, the basic story of like rock stars, dark magic, cult followings, that kind of stuff. It's actually really cool. I really loved it. Some of these I went in more depth than others. I don't really know how to go in depth with graphic novels, so I'm sorry that I didn't really do that for these. I am recommending them, and I never see people talk about them, okay? So these are quite a few books that I recommend that I don't see people talk about. Maybe you have, but I'm telling you, these are some of my favorite books that I still think about to this day, okay? Tell me what books you always think about that you don't see people talk about, okay? I want to know those books that are your favorites that you wish people knew, like you wished more people would read, because those are the books I want to get into. I'll see you all next time. Thank you for listening to me ramble on, and check out my channel if you want. You know, it's a collection. It's an eclectic collection of things that I like. You got books, you have Comic-Cons, you have a few little random videos about toys and vlogs, stuff like that. I don't know, just things I love, and I hope to see you along my journey. So I will see you all next time if you choose to come back. So peace out, rock on, fly every world, give your wings fly, touch the sky, make sure everyone knows your name. Love from my screen to yours. Bye, my little butterflies, Cameron.